Yes, yes, absolutely. This movie was indeed very fire. This movie was indeed what people would call peak. This movie was incredible. This movie was everything that I wanted out of a Spider-Man movie. And yeah, today I'm going to be talking about reviews with y'all. Now, there are spoilers in here, so put your big boy pants up, you get your Spidey undies on, and do be prepared for major spoilers in this video. But don't forget to, like, subscribe. I always get the 700 and eventually, 1,000 subs. But without further ado, let me get to reviews. Yes, this movie was very, very good. Now, Spider-Man Brand New Day, the first live-action Spider-Man movie in over 5 years, with the returning cast of Tom Holland, Zendaya, the guy who plays Ned, with some follow-ups with Punisher, Hulk, and a special character, Sadie Sink, who I will say, yes, theories are right. She does play Jean Grey. I will let y'all know she does play Jean Grey. So let's get into the nitty gritty of it. So the movie starts up very, very, very peculiar. Not peculiar, but very, very like original style. Like when the one dude who directed the trilogies starts up with Peter, looking at his tech, got a streamer setup and everything. He has a new AI system like Friday. He's got new tech. He has homemade web shooters, all that. And he's just trying to do as much as he can to fight crime. And he gets remembered by MJ and Ned with a letter he wrote in No Way Home, but then he just fights crime. And I believe this movie does take place a year or two after No Way Home, because they just went. Then the last movie ended with them going to college, and they're just about to end college. So 1 year or two since the last movie, and it's fantastic. They have a great sequence of them showing off classic villains. You got Boomerang Man, we got Scorpion, and also we got Tombstone, one of the most famous of them all. We got Tombstone, but unfortunately we don't get him long. He's only like a short cameo and all that. So yeah, don't get him long. We do get Scorpion for a while, but I'll keep going into that. Um, After all that, we just see Spider-Man trying to live his best life. We see him just all depressed and lonely, and that's what we call a peak Spider-Man right there. If he's sad and lonely, that's how you know that the movie's gonna be good. And after that, we just see him so down and up, and then we try to see him stop a truck. Essentially, the movie has this mysterious noir tone to it of him trying to find out the mysteriousness of essentially a being who can go into different minds, mind control you, brainwash you, and all that, and yeah, all that jazz. And we do get Punisher. Punisher is in this movie. John Berthel is in it, and my God, is he still good. This may be a PG-13 version of the Punisher, but do not be fooled by this. He is still the Punisher. This may be a PG-13 watered down version, but this version of Punisher still kicks major ass. I kid you not. This version does swear a bit like the R version, not as heavily, but as profoundly. John Berthel has always been the perfect Punisher, so he does a great job in this. Him and Tom Holland, they have a great duo, honestly. In this movie, they have like a fantastic duo-ship of like him being like the aggressive motivator and like just having like a buddy comedy kind of vibe, and I love it. They're so aggressive with each other. It's just very funny. And after that, Peter finds out where where MJ lives and where Ned lives, and he has to now face you know what they've been through now, because MJ now is a boyfriend, and Peter's like all that. He basically has a panic attack, and he does we get a peak montage of him in the rain being sad and all, like Spider-Man 2 and all. For the record, too, some people do say this movie is better than Spider-Man 2. I would not say so, nor is it better than No Way Home, but it is still a phenomenal movie. Anyways, we finally do find out the mutation aspect. We do know that Spider-Man has a mutation in this movie, and it's not what you think. Essentially, unfortunately, no, we do not get mutated Spider-Man. We do not get Man Spider. Unfortunately, I'm sorry, I have to say, there's no Man Spider in this movie. There is organic webs and enhanced strength, enhanced senses, but no, unfortunately, there is no Man Spider. So, gotta stop you there. There is no Man Spider, but he does have heightened senses and all that, organic webs, and essentially what's happening is his mutation is growing because of high stress intensity, essentially like what Toby went through, except the opposite, because he lost his powers while Tom gained more of his powers. And essentially after that, he's trying to figure out a way to stop the power from happening. Then we get to the Hulk. Mark Ruffalo is in this movie as the Hulk again. Oh my god, they do the Hulk justice in this movie. Now there is a little bit of Smart Hulk. I will say that. They do have a little bit of a fight with Smart Hulk because with Sadie Sink, turns out she is Jean Grey in this movie. We do get an X-Men character. She is Jean Grey. Turns out she is trying to find something called VMAX. We don't know what VMAX quite is until the very end. I will get to that. She's trying to find VMAX, and she finally found. Essentially, VMAX is also located in the center of the control. The damage control. I forgot what they were. Damage control does return in this movie, and she found where it has on damage control vault, and she uses the Hulk. She mind controls. She does a little brainwashing, all that, trying to get in the vault. And we do get a little bit of Smart Hulk, but because of her bond with Banner, she's accidentally broke the bond between him and Savage Hulk. Because in Avengers Endgame, Banner spent so long trying to suppress Savage Hulk that he essentially got rid of him from his mind. The bond was sealed. He never heard from him again. Jean Grey accidentally unleashes that bond, and he lets loose. Savage Hulk, even though he's not what you thought he was going to be in this movie, still does a great job at just being destructive. We get a famous line of him saying, "No Banner or girl, only Hulk." And he just wreaks havoc. I'm talking about Hulk clapping, Hulk smashing. I'm talking about all that jazz. I'm talking about the Green Behemoth, smashing machine, Loki beating all of that. Yeah, we do get the famous Loki beat. We do get a famous 1, 2, buckle my shoe, 3, 4, puny god. We do get some of that. And Spider-Man does a great job trying to fight his way. Heck, we even get the Punisher fighting the Hulk, and it's not Savage Hulk. He fights Smart Hulk, unfortunately. So it makes sense why they had a Punisher versus the Hulk sequence, because we know he wouldn't be able to beat, Savage Hulk. Maybe Smart Hulk, but not Savage Hulk. And I also forgot to mention another recurring character that's in this movie that we never actually knew about. Well, some people did. Yelena returns. Black Widow's sister returns. But it's different because she is still the leader of the New Avengers, but she also has her own undercover operative. It's very weird to see. Very weird to say. I can't explain it, but she does return in the movie, and she does a great job as always, bro. I love Yelena's actress. I think she's great in everything she is, and yeah. And I know I'm a tad bit late to this review. The movie came out like Thursday. This is Saturday. I don't care. I get to review what I want to review. I get the tickets on a weekend. Big deal, okay? Big deal that I get a ticket on the weekend of all days. But anyways, back to that. Savage Hulk is eventually defeated by himself. What theories they confirm is Savage Hulk does remember Peter, because technically he's his own different person who didn't technically get mind erased because he was in his Banner's inner conscience. So yeah, Savage Hulk does remember Peter, and he self-sacrifices himself. Well, by that, I mean he self-changes back to Banner for him to stop Jean Grey. And it turns out that damage control, I don't know if this is lore accurate to the comics or not, but Jean Grey, we eventually find out that VMAX is actually a term for a vent, and that vent was seen by her sister. I don't know if she has a sister in the comics or not, but Jean Grey in this movie has a sister named Sarah Grey. We do get Sarah Grey. I don't know if she's in the comics or not. I feel like she's a whole new character. I don't really remember Jean Grey having a sister in the comics, but she does have a sister named Sarah Grey, who is also essentially like her. She is also a telepath. They were abandoned by their mother because they were like, "You mutant! Get out of my house, mutant!" But we do get that. We do get some of that. I just realized my microphone is not that high of energy, so I hope that the video quality is still good for y'all. But yeah, she basically abandoned her own children, and Damage Control really, really, really wanted to get a hold of these two because they wanted to have the power for themselves or use that power for the better good. But it doesn't go so well, and they kept abusing their minds. Essentially, Sarah dies, and Jean just loses it. She just has a brain swap, a brain map, or like a brain blast, and freezes everyone within a certain radius. And Peter then has to go in and stop him. He has to use some web swinging action and all of that. And we do get the hand, but how they use the hand in this movie weirded me out a little bit. Damage Control was able to convince the Hand to work for them. So the Hand, if you don't know who the Hand is, the Hand comes from Daredevil, from the Daredevil Netflix TV show, and also from the comics. The Hand is like a cult of ninjas, and essentially in this movie, Damage Control is able to convince them to work for them, and they eventually do. And she uses their mind. She essentially hacks into their minds. Well, she manipulates their minds, and the Hand now works for Jean Grey, and they had a whole fight sequence. It was phenomenal. I just want to say the fight choreography in this was phenomenal. They do a great job with the action in this movie. Probably the best action we've ever gotten out of a Spider-Man movie alone. Like, with just Spider-Man solo and not having Tom and Andrew, Toby and Andrew alone, beautiful. And essentially, we get a great sequence of Tom using his mutation to the limit, and he does a fantastic job. He does, like, breaks a sword with just his bare muscles. He combines his organic webs, presses them together, and just does a whirlwind of webs, which is just, it was so phenomenal. I can't explain it. It was just peak. And essentially, he gets a Jean Grey, and they do a famous comic sequence. They have the Punisher shoot Tom. We get the famous Spider-Man comic, like one of the most famous moments in comic history of the Punisher shooting Tom Holland, Spider-Man, and even doing the famous Civil War segment of the Punisher carrying Spider-Man in his arms. We do get a famous comic segment of that, and I think it was beautifully well done. I never saw it coming. I totally forgot about that sequence in the comics, but it's a famous moment that changed Spider-Man. Hell, if any of y'all read Ultimate Spider-Man, because of the Punisher, he essentially gave Spider-Man a death sentence and had him bleed to death, which was a very, very bad thing for Ultimate Spider-Man, bro. If it weren't for Punisher, he would have still been alive. And I love that moment. I love how they incorporated that famous comic moment. And essentially how the movie ends is MJ. Well, essentially MJ on her own finds out that Peter Parker was a guy. She doesn't remember anything. She just finds the little letter of the coffee thing, and those two do have a talk. And unfortunately, MJ just still doesn't love him. The original MJ might have, but this is a whole new MJ. Because she's never even known this guy nor Peter, she doesn't fall in love. But Ned remembers. How he got Ned to remember was through the famous handshake, and that somehow triggered Ned to remember everything. It was at the very end of the movie. They didn't show him remember, but out of nowhere, he also then says, Peter? Like, he remembered now. Because of that handshake, he remembered, and that's how the movie ends. And there is a post-credit scene. And this one, y'all will love. It shows they have a thing Ned created called the Spider Tracker. It's like from the Spider-Man games, where it has like the crime tracking and everything. And it revealed that there's another Spider-Man. It essentially revealed that Spider-Man will return in Avengers Doomsday, but it revealed a second Spider-Man, and that Spider-Man will be Tobey Maguire. They don't say it's Tobey Maguire, but from all the rumors and even pictures we got in from Doomsday of Tobey on set, and from what we've heard, it basically confirmed our readings. Tobey Maguire will return as Spider-Man, and I just have to say, oh, it's so peak. Like my favorite Spider-Man of all time is Tobey, hands down. It could be Tom, it could be Andrew, but I'd rather have Tobey, bro. Like, Tobey is like one of the greatest Spider-Man of all time. The only American one too. Literally, Andrew and Tom are British. He's the only one that's been played by an American actor. But I basically confirmed that Spider-Man will return in Doomsday, and that either confirmed that both Tom and Tobey will be in it, or just Tobey, or just Tom. But it did confirm that we are gonna get Tobey Maguire to return as Spider-Man, which is just so amazing, bro. Because everyone loves Tobey. We just want Tobey as Spider-Man. And yeah, that's basically it for the review. I gave this movie a 10 out of 10. I think this movie is perfect, hands down. One of the best best Spider-Man movies we've ever gotten in years. I don't think it's better than Spider-Man 2. A lot of people say it's better than Spider-Man 2. I don't think it is. I think it's equivalent with it. And I do say that I don't think it's better than No Way Home, but it's equal with No Way Home. But yep, that's basically the end of the review. Great movie as always. Hope you all like this little review of mine. I think Marvel cooked with it. They definitely cooked with this movie. Heck, even Tom Holland was in the script, was even involved with writing some of it because he actually read the comics. So did John Berthel. So they were involved in like making some of the decision making skills of how to make the movie great. And it was even directed by the guy who made Shang-Chi, which by the way, we're Shang-Chi too, huh? We need Shang-Chi too. But great movie as always. Worth the wait. Worth 5 years of waiting. Must watch in theaters. Yep, that's basically the end of the review. Hope y'all like it. Subscribe. Yeah. Bye-bye.